Now, my final thing is I wanted to just take a few minutes to show you an incredibly valuable resource, which is my friend Daniel. Daniel, you over there?
Hi, Boris.
Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm great.
My friend Daniel is a very, very smart guy, but also a super nice guy. And all of you are wondering, well, I've had all these great strategies. All these guys gave me great ideas, and I myself have some now I have some creative ideas that I want to do, but I can't program. I can't program, guys. I can't program at all. Like it's trying to teach programming to all of us old guys is super hard. I mean, I used to be able to program, but like, please, why would I want to do something that I'm going to be so horrible at? I'd rather create ideas. But the man who can take those ideas and put them into life, put them into actual actionable, profitable trades is this guy. And that's why I wanted to just spend a few minutes. I'm going to give him the screen. Just bear with me a second here, guys. And just show what he does and why I really highly recommend you try his services out. So Daniel, you have the screen and the final word for the show.
Great. Give me 1 second.
Are you already stealing my rules off my index card?
Of course. I took a quick screenshot of those rules because I would like to refer to them in just a second.
That's fine. By the way, guys, just to let you know, of course, all this information will be sent to you, so you don't have to worry. Nothing here is secret. I'll be happy to share all this with you guys. But as I said, if you really want to see, I mean, it's one thing to sort of understand this philosophically. It's a completely different thing to trade it in real life. And the real life component is coming into my room. So I'd love to see all of you guys in there. Okay, all yours, Daniel. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for staying up so late. I know it must be close to midnight or maybe after midnight in Australia right now. So thank you so much for staying up. I promise I'll keep this short. This won't be more than 10 minutes, but I'd like to talk with you about custom development. And I'm going to show you that it doesn't have to be easy and doesn't have to be costly. So just a few words about me. I took a bit of a different path than I think everybody else in this conference. I'm not a trader by background. I'm a software engineer. And for many years, that was my career path. I was on a path to become a researcher at the university. I did my PhD here in Montreal, and I've taught many lectures and courses at the university in all kinds of areas in software engineering. But at some point, I was also always interested in the finance aspect of things, and especially how IT can help support traders and investors. And I decided to not pursue my university career further and instead go into the finance sector. I worked as a consultant for Morgan Stanley for a few years here in Montreal, and then went off on my own. And I've been specializing on the development of custom trading solutions. This could be as an indicator for MT4. This could be an automated strategy for TradeStation. This could be a visualization for TradingView, or all kinds of things together and combined. And so yeah, this is my background. And me and my team and I were specializing on providing trading solutions to enhance your trading experience, which are custom solutions which fit your needs, and of course, hopefully make you a more profitable trader. So what are the areas that we could help you with? What is this one area of indicator development? I know Ragi talked about her grab candles, and in fact, the MT4 version of those grab candles, they were developed by our team, for example. I've written personally hundreds of automated strategies, mostly for MT4, because most of my clients are in the forex business, but also for other platforms. And I was smiling when Boris showed his B-flow strategy, because I thought, that's a nice, simple strategy. And in fact, oftentimes the simpler the strategy, the better it is. And a strategy like this is definitely one of the easier ones to program. And I'm always happy to see very clean-cut rules for a strategy. So that typically it's definitely cheaper to develop, but oftentimes also these are the more profitable ones, because the logic is very exposed, it's very clean. Boris, did you have a comment?
No, what I was going to say is that point, I think, is very much lost on most new traders or most retail traders. Every single person that you saw present here had basically 2 rules, maximum 3 rules for that strategy. That's the beauty of the whole thing. Strategies are simple. It's the execution and all the stuff that Daniel's going to talk to you about that is hard. But if you have 25 rules for your strategy, it's probably destined for failure. That's the key thing. It's complexity does not come from the strategy. It comes from the actual execution of that strategy. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yes, Boris. True words spoken here. And also another risk, if you have a very complex strategy with hundreds of parameters, the risk of over curve fitting the strategy, basically to find an optimal set of parameters among these 100 parameters that would have given you a perfect performance in history, is very high. So you would have that picture perfect performance on hypothetical historical data, but in live trading, of course, the market will not repeat itself the way it was in the past, and you will have a losing system. So the simpler the rules, the better typically it is. Custom programming can be used not just to automate your strategies, but also to confirm a theory that you may have about the market. And when I listened to Linda's presentation yesterday, and I love this presentation, it was super interesting, and I'm definitely going to get her book. She mentioned something about a length of line, and she said that the S&Ps, they have a very long line, which is basically when you take all the zigzags, as you can see on my screen, and straighten them out. And for the S&P, this line, when straightened out, is longer than in other markets. And I thought, interesting approach. How would that look like for the forex market? So right after her presentation, I sat down and I coded a simple indicator based on Linda's statement, which basically measures the length of the zigzag line and plots it out for a particular symbol. What you can see here, once I zoom into this is the pound US dollar. And you can see that historically there are 27 of these swings per trading day, which is indicated up here. The average size of each swing is 22 pips, and compared to its ATR, which is 81 pips per day, basically the high and the low of a given trading day, you have a multiple of 7.4. Basically, if you would have taken every single trade, like the perfect trading, you would have made 604 pips, which is 7 times 4 times the ATR. And I went ahead and looked at the statistics of a couple of symbols, and I noticed that the pound really was the symbol or the pair that had the most of these zigzags, and the zigzags were the longest ones, with a multiple of 7 times 4 the ATR. And I would imagine if you had a scalping system, this is an information which might be interesting to look at in terms of if I wanted to go in and out within a given trading day, perhaps the pound would be the symbol to go for, because it has all these swings within a given trading day. Anyways, that was just a small thing I put together yesterday quickly before I was heading out to the Canadian Open. I was attempting to see Nadal play here in Montreal. Unfortunately, the match got canceled afterwards. Yeah, that was a bummer due to forfeit. Anyways, back to custom development. So many people ask me, what are the steps involved in a typical custom development cycle? So oftentimes I get an email either through Justin from Forest Park FX, with whom we are closely collaborating on the custom development, or somebody hits me up on Skype, or it's done by referral, and a potential client explains to me, oh, I have this idea about this indicator, or I have this idea about this EA. Can you code it for me? Typically only writes a couple of lines of what he has in mind. For example, this EA will be for MT4. It's a breakout system. It trades when a pivot level is hit with this stop loss and this take profit. Okay, so I take in this information. I typically reply back and maybe ask a couple of follow-up questions. But one of the very first things I do as well is I schedule a Skype session with this person, just to ask some questions in more detail and then to get a bit of a feeling of who that person really is. When it comes to programming, often the devil is in the details. It's good to have an intuition how the system works, but for an automated system, you really must know all the ins and outs and all the rules involved. You can't leave anything vague, because this is not how algorithms work. Everything needs to be specified. And I've developed a bit of a knack to ask the right questions to to extract all these information from the client. Once I have the a good idea of what the needs are, what the algo is doing, we write a cost estimate and a time estimate for the development. A typical development is about 1 week. It doesn't really take 1 week to get the entire EA done, but just like anybody else, I do other things as well. So I can't spend the entire day on algo development, but typically it's a turnaround time of 1 or 2 weeks, depending on the complexity. We deliver a first version of the algo. The client will try it out. He will make sure that all the rules that the client had in mind and that he had specified are actually followed. Oftentimes there are a few things that need to be changed and tweaked and polished up until the EA is good to go. So the EA now fits the specification of the client, and then the last step is it trades according to the rules, but of course the last step is it actually profitable? And oftentimes that's something that I see as foregone. Clients do not take this step seriously enough. So unfortunately, oftentimes it is applied straight away to a live trading account. And with the result of, unfortunately, losing money, getting frustrated, getting into a revenge trading mode, and giving up. So this is not the ideal life cycle. And one of the things I keep telling everyone: do not trade this algo live right away. There is a homework to be done. You need to do some rigorous back testing on the EA, followed up by some forward testing on the demo account. This step is oftentimes overlooked for one main reason only, because it's very boring. It's very tedious, and it's also a bit hard to get the right data you want to back test on. I was just thinking about your strategy. That's why I had taken a screenshot of it. You said, Boris, that this strategy is profitable. Trust me. Typically, I'm more of a doubting kind of personality. I probably would not trust it blindly. At least I would. If it was my strategy, I would run it through a back tester and run it on all these different symbols, perhaps in different configurations here, if the strategy actually is as performant as claimed. And but I had a good feeling about this one. This looked simple and clean. So this is,
you know what I was going to say?
candidate.
I think a lot of people were surprised because, of course, this is one of the most surprising things from my experience from backtesting is that the strategy may be profitable, but in completely different ways than you initially imagined it. I'm not thinking about this one, but I have this one strategy that we originally created, that Kathy and I actually created, which had started out with a relatively even, risk reward ratio, right? Sort of a pretty close to risk reward ratio. And it was, when we did the back test, it was fair to Midland. It did okay. And then I had this insane idea of completely flipping the risk reward ratios to just ridiculously unacceptable levels. And lo and behold, it started to back test not like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years across every possible pair we could make. It started to just back test unbelievably well. So we were like, this is crazy. We actually called the crazy strategy crazy. And then we started live testing it, and it's definitely proving it. It's trading live exactly as it did on the back test. So the point is, there's enormous value in back test, not just in making sure that your strategy is working, but also in understanding that sometimes the most unexpected, that it will work in the most unexpected ways than you originally thought. That's what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see it often that once you lower your stop loss, once you increase the stop loss and you give it more room to work, the strategy will become better in performance. And I was not surprised when I saw that you had a bigger stop loss than you take profit. Oftentimes that will give you a better edge because you give the strategy more performance. Of course, you need to have a winning ratio. not to make this
Absolutely.
profitable, but
And,
it's a common thing that I see in backtesting a lot.
and that's, and that's, by the way, sort of like this one thing that it's not whether your initial risk reward ratio is positive. What's really important is the break even point and the back test results. So let me just sort of give you one very quick example. Let's say the break even point on a strategy is 70%, but the back test results show that it's 90% accurate. Just a ridiculous. You'll never see that. But anyways, so it's a 20-point positive spread. That means what the back test is showing to what the break even is. You have a 20 points worth of 20% worth of padding, right? On the other hand, let's say you have a strategy where you have a standard 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, right? Which means it has to have like a break even of like 35%. And the back test shows that it's accurate 40%. Well, 40 minus 35 is only 5%. That is actually an inferior strategy because the spread between what the what the break even point and what the theoretical possibility is actually pretty small, right? So that's what you really want to evaluate is what does the back test show relative to its break even point, and the wider that number is, the higher the confidence you have that that it's going to work. So that's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, and that actually brings up another good point. You mentioned on your trading view chart that on that pair that we were showing, you actually were stopped out, even though the bid price would not have hit at least visually that stop level.
Right.
Just because of the spread. And one of the key things for backtesting is that you need to get as accurate historical data as possible. And one thing that we use or work together with what they call tick charts.
Yeah.
I forgot the level. There's a link on our website. So we import tick data, which show live spreads, the spreads as they were at that time, and they are fed into MT4, and the MT4 backtest that will actually stop you out in that particular case. So that's the
Daniel,
accuracy. Yes.
I just want to clarify this so that everybody understands. Once you've coded this, will you help the person backtest the strategy? Will you show them how to download that data and how to backtest it properly?
Yes. So with every delivery, I give the client an intro on how the strategy works, how it's supposed to be operated. I give them advice how to deploy it. If they don't have a VPS, I hook them up with some resources or some VPSs that I would recommend. And then, of course, when it comes to back testing, which I guess it comes before.
Just for those people who don't know what a VPS is simply a virtual private server. It's simply running all these strategies need to be run 24 hours a day, 7 days without interruption. If you're running it on your own computer, I can guarantee you it's almost never going to work because your computer is the single biggest point of failure. So what everybody in the FX business does is they rent space in the cloud and they let professional data centers run these strategies. It's not expensive. It's literally as cheap as $6-7 a month to buy this tiny sliver of space in the cloud. But that is what a VPS is, and that's where all like you saw this picture that I took of my robot that's running in a cloud. I have like literally 7 or 8 cloud configurations running right now. So go ahead.
Yes, so it's important to have a server running which can keep your EA up and running 24/7 or 24/5. Before we actually go into this step, I do give clients an intro on how to backtest, how to use the backtester in MT4, potentially enhanced with Tick Data Suite, which is a third-party provider we work with, which imports or provides tick data from Dukascopy. They were able to download it, and they're supporting what they call a floating spread. So when you use the backtest in MT4, out of the box, the spread is static. You have to manually define, okay, I want to use a spread of, I don't know, 10 micropips or 5 micropips. But when you download Tick Data Suite, they actually support a floating spread. So that means with every tick that comes in, you will use the live market spread as it was at that moment, according to Dukascopy's on trade servers. So that for what sure it will increase the accuracy of your trading system, because if the spreads were widened, as Boris said, when you got stopped out, the backtester would have stopped you out as well and would not have continued with that trade that Boris had shown. The other thing that we help clients with is we hook them up with tools that can help them with backtesting. there's this portfolio backtester, which actually is a tool for automating backtests. Backtesting is tedious because you have to start them one by one, look at the results, perhaps change something, reset them again, and do this for all symbols and all time frames, one by one by one. This can easily be done hundreds of backtests. So you would spend hours, days, or sleepless nights backtesting. We developed a tool which we call the portfolio tester, which actually can automate the entire suite in one shot. And what you will do, you specify the test that you would like to run, and you click start, and then you let it run overnight while you go out, watch tennis, or spend some time with your children. And then the next morning, you'll have the results all consolidated for you. So this will help you an amazing amount of time. And this is actually a tool that we use in-house ourselves. And this works together with any MT4 installation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing I'd like to point out, if you're interested in our services, please contact me, contact my team. We're here to help you with all your trading needs, be it this an indicator or dashboard or an automated strategy or whatever you may have in mind to help you with your trading. This could also be as easy as an Excel macro. I've done this many times, but just help to analyze some data sets in Excel in terms of trade performance. Whatever you have in mind, we're here to help you. We will definitely give you a reasonable quote. We work closely together with Justin and Forest Park FX. So whether you contact Justin or me directly, we will give you the best deal that we can offer you. And for a limited time, I packaged up 3 of our top tools, including the portfolio backtester, into one bundle. I call it the MT4 Trader Fest bundle. And you get 50% off if you click on this link.
Yes, I'm just trying to pull this up myself. Sorry, Daniel. I'm just trying to pull it up in my own. I'm gonna disseminate this link to you guys right now. But sorry, can you send that link to everybody, or maybe you could send it to me by chat, and I'll send it to everybody.
Yes, I will do this.
Okay. Oh, here it is. I think I found it.
You got it? Yeah. And so this is for our MT4 tools. But if you have any custom programming needs for all participants of TraderFest 2019, we're gonna provide a 25% discount. That is whether you go through Justin or directly through me. Yeah, for all participants on any custom programming work. So don't be shy.
Right.
This is
so this is the mt4tradingexperience.com, right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. So I sent that link to everybody. So please use that link. And of course, all of this information will be beautifully collated and presented to you guys, in a post webinar email. So I want to thank everybody. Man, we blew out the room, blew out registrations. 6,000 people across the world have registered. Many of you are going to be watching this on demand. Many of you are going to be watching this, many times over on demand. It's going to take me a couple of days to just clean up and separate and get all the videos out to you guys. But I promise you, by the end of this week, everybody's is going to get all this information in a nice, tidy little package, which you'll be able to access for the rest of your life. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank everybody who presented here. I'm going to take actually the week not just to process all the videos, but actually to process all the information and put into nice key bullet points, because I think the most interesting thing is just there was kernels of wisdom here that each one of the speakers have expressed that we need to visualize every single day. So I'm going to just extract their best thoughts and put them together for you. Thank you again for attending. I'd love to see you in BK. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And all of the Aussies who managed to stay up late, thank you very much. I will see everybody in the markets. We start again in just 4 or 5 hours. All the market junkies back in the pool with me. And as I say in BK, there is no flow like BK flow. So hopefully you guys will come in and trade it with me. Thank you. I will see everybody later. Daniel, thank you so much. The man with a plan. If you have a plan, he is the man that can make it a reality. So go give him a shout out if you want to code anything.